Welcome to the Become Sensible podcast, where we discuss practical accounting, finance, and tax for everyday business. I'm your host, Fiona, and I'm here to show you that no matter what your business financial situation is, you can change it. Good morning. Welcome to the podcast Become Sensible, where we discuss practical tips to help the business owner and entrepreneur to level up their business finance and business growth. I'm your host, Fiona. I am a CPA and I'm passionate to share with you more practical tips to help with your business management and decision. So today we talk about a very important topic because it's December. So every one of us is working on planning for 2025. And so we will talk about how you setting goal, how you execute your plan. And so therefore I welcome my co-host onto the podcast.
Hello, everyone. It's nice to be back. And yeah, today's topic is pretty relevant for this current time of the year. And I'm sure all of you guys are getting ready to close out the year, but I think we should focus on what's coming up next, right? Moving on to the next year on like a stronger note.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so today, the podcast, we not only talking about strategy and how to setting goal and how to have a strategy to move forward with it, but we will focus a lot on the execution plan that help you to be successful with your strategy and your plan. Because end of the day, that is where things are. Mm-hmm. If there's no execution, there's nothing happening for you in the new year at all.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I think we can just get started on the framework of how you should set goals and the strategy, the planning, and then after that we can dive into the execution of it.
Yes.
As well.
Yes.
So I think you've talked about that there are 4 phases of breaking down goal setting and then executing it. Do you want to dive into that?
Yeah, so in any time that we talk about setting goal for the new year, there's 4 phases of it. Is number 1 is setting goal. Mm-hmm. Number 2 is what is your strategy to help you to achieve that goal. Mm-hmm. And then you plan your resource, your budgets, your time, your people. And then finally is actually execute your plan. And every part of this plays so much important in your successful in the new year. But one of the things that we, from the experience, that work with a lot of business owners and entrepreneurs, we see that the harder part is in the execution. Which is, I think that is very true because end of the day, everything that you plan is just on the paper. Nothing actually happening yet. And in the business world, anything that you plan, when you execute, things will change and things will happen. And so the part of execution will play significant role into your success.
Yeah, I think that's a really common problem. We write down our goals and then we start feeling good about ourselves. And it's just that sudden burst of dopamine just because you feel like you kind of accomplished it already.
Yeah.
But nothing has been done yet.
Yeah. So that's why when you say that you will write a book and you come out and you talk with all your friends that you will have a book and everyone cheer on you. And then you just run out, actually work, having the patience and persistence to go on and actually write a book. Writing a book actually does require a lot. And this is similar into the business too, that anything that you set for the brand is make your brand is excited for that. But then the excitement and motivation will run out when you actually need to put into the real world, because that is the real struggle because.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's just kind of digging yourself deeper into that hole where you're if you're not accomplishing this goal to begin with, you're in a deeper hole because everyone else around you know that you're not achieving it.
Yeah, and you lose the self-trust with yourself too. And for example, if you set up a goal, for next year you want to achieve a $1 million in revenue, it needs to start with everything needs to be coherent together from the setting goal unto the execution part of it. For example, if you say that next year your business revenue may be $1 million in revenue, it's a random number. It's become a random number. If it's, there's no nothing that there's no why, there's no purpose, there's no reason come with that number. For example, if you believe that your solution or your product can solve or bring amazing thing for the end user of that, and you think that is your mission to bring this solution to help other people to solve that problem, then that just have a strong why behind that. Because number is just a number. There's no feeling. And I think one of the things that people always say that you will never can change anything and or make things happen unless you have a real feeling and reason why behind of that. And I think that is why you need to start with what is the reason for you to set that goal and what is your mission and long-term view with it. Otherwise, any number doesn't have any like meaning go with it, then it's not gonna be like a sustainable goal for you in long term at all.
Yeah. And I think that's like a step that a lot of people mess up on. Like that's just like the first step of setting goal is like knowing your reason. Once you set your goal being an arbitrary number, like I think you're just setting yourself up for failure because like you need to find it within yourself that like you really want this thing to actually achieve it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think there's some of the time people like get the goal from other people.
Oh yeah.
Like especially like online, we say, okay, this is the first year that you will achieve like $100,000 revenue per year, or like $1 million revenue per year, or become a millionaire. It's just so impressive when we say those things, but it has no meaning,
Right.
and no feeling, and no attachment to it. Like for you, maybe $1 million is an exciting thing, but for me, maybe it's 5 million, or maybe it's just $100,000.
Yeah.
So that's is like the huge why and mission, and what is the meaning and the feeling attached with it will drive you
Right.
to take the action and the chance. Because it's if anything, if the real thing is just happening in the action that you actually take it.
Yeah, I agree. But let's say that someone is listening, isn't that sure about their personal vision yet, or like they don't have all the answer to their question, like what they really want. What are some steps that you would recommend for them to like actually start setting goals that is like effective and they can start achieving?
Yeah, so I think in Japan they have the Ikigai concept, which is whatever you want to do is combination of what is your expertise, what is your skill, what is your passion somehow. And then the second thing is what is the market actually like meet? What is the need on the market?
Right.
And then whether you have the skill to actually do that work. Because of course there's something that you're passionate, but you have no background, no skill. That's just a very long shot for you to.
Right.
And then when you like analyze all of these is combined together, you will find a special place. That is the thing that you actually want to do. That's number one. Number two is we need to ask ourselves the question, like whether you want to work. Is this in the US? Is this at home, in the office environment? How much that you want to work? There's some people say that they can work 60 hours a week. But there's people who say like, I just need to work like 30 hours because I have a children for any reason. And then how much flexibility that you want in your schedule, or what kind of work that you feel like energize you. Like there's making the money, but then the work is not energized for you at all. You feel it's pretty boring.
Yeah.
You cannot like do this for long term, then don't do it. Business is take years to actually like become popular and successful widely. And I don't mean that there's no people that not gonna be success in couple months. But then also at the same time, there's like two types of business too. One of them is lifestyle business. It means that, okay, you work, you make enough profit so that you maintain the lifestyle that you want.
Right.
But then the second one is they actually want to go big. They serve bigger the markets and they reach bigger number of the people. Then that's scaling that business require different like mentality, resource, and goal, and plan, and strategy. It's like different thing. And there's nothing wrong. If you choose to become big and you just choose that the business suitable with your lifestyle, there's nothing wrong. It's your personal preference.
Right.
And that's only you can answer that question.
I agree. I think those are some really simple questions that you just kind of like listed out that like if you are able to answer like these questions, it should set you towards like the right path.
Yeah.
And like setting your goal that's both aligned with your mission and like what you can be good at. So just focus on those basic questions and then you can start making steps in your path into setting your goals and executing.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just move on to how to align your goals with your vision as well, because I feel like you dove a little bit into that just now, like setting goals that is like relevant to you and like you can be good at. So I just wanted you to dive in even deeper into like how to align your goals specifically to your vision.
Yeah, so we have the episode, I think that's just like the third episode or something. We talk about like how to setting financial goal like with your vision. You can listen to it too. But the reason why goal need to be aligned with your vision is this, like in long term, in 5 years, in 10 years, you want to do certain thing. That is your vision. But like we as human beings, our brain not gonna be like think about like next 10 years, 5 years.
Right.
So you need to nail down what is the end picture in your 5 year, 10 years, so that you know, okay, whatever I do now, it's just like fly an airplane. They need to know the destination.
Yeah.
And during the time that they fly the airplane, they adjust. Depends on the wing and the pressures, all of that you adjust, but you will arrive at that destination. So
Right.
that's the vision. It is. So you know the end goal of it. But like human being, if we every single day wake up and think about the next 5 years, 10 years, we probably quit because it's too far advanced. So that from that vision, you break it down by 1 year and then break it down into 6 months and then quarter and then monthly and then quick every week and then every day.
Yeah.
And so we adjust our flight, but then end of the day, we know that we will arrive at that airport. Not gonna be like from America fly to like Australia. Arrive in Australia, it's just too far away in terms of visit. What I think is happen all the time. People put a lot of effort for 10 years and 15 years, sacrifice so many things. And once they arrive destination and they say, oh, this is not what I actually want at all. Happen all the time.
Yeah.
So basically know which airport you want to arrive first. And then you align the way that how you do that from now until that day.
Yeah, I think that's definitely like the importance of the step that's aligning your vision, because your destination is pretty important, but like we don't want it to be too like unrealistic or like way too far out that you can't even like grasp it anymore.
Yeah.
So like I want to move into like how you should be setting realistic goal, because I feel like that's an important part in aligning your vision, because like setting a realistic goal that you can like kind of feel like you can do it and like the timeline is like possible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about like the techniques and like setting realistic goals?
Yeah. So, I mean, like some people will say like they don't like the word of realistic goal. But I mean, like in what is that neuroscience or they talk about setting goals, you need to have a two thing in here. Number one, the goal, it needs to be like challenging enough. Like for example, now you make $100,000 in revenue per month. Then you set it up for the revenue 120,000, which is 20% increase. It's challenging enough. But if you just say, okay, keep maintain 100,000 or like or make 105,000, it's not challenging. And when we're setting goal, we need something challenging because it's like create a dopamine and excitement and motivation for us to go forward. So that's just natural how we do. And so whatever the point that you are at, get something that challenging enough. But for short term, in like 6 months, in a year, in a quarter, you cannot set it up like something that's like from $100,000 to $200,000 or $300,000 per month right away, which you can do. it just requires some time. And I don't mean that there's no people on the market say that they cannot achieve like just double and triple their revenue every single month. There are people doing that. But then if you chose to go that way, you need to prepare for mentalities for the amount and efforts and result to go into that too. Yeah.
I agree. Yeah, I think those are some pretty good like standards you should look into if you're trying to align your vision and actually create goals that are realistic to you.
Yeah.
I think another question that people would ask is, does this goal excite me? Right?
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that's kind of important. Like you can't really measure that with like a certain number or like a certain metric, but like that's just like a feeling within you.
Yeah, and this is why I say the feeling is actually very important too. Like if you do the work that you absolutely hate it, there's no excitement regardless what type of the goal, what type of the number go with it. There's none. And you can imagine that you have a car, you have the house, you have all the things that people measure is as successful, but you feel empty. Which is many people arrive at that destination and they feel empty and they don't like it. They don't want anything of that at all. So make sure that you actually have an excitement feeling and it's aligned with your mission, with your purpose, with the meaning. And that's just why I think the book is called The Mindset for the Meaning.
Okay.
It's a very, very famous book. And I think I read this like 10 years ago or something.
Oh, wow.
But the guy that who survived came under Hitler, World War II, and then he was able to survive all the hardship that because he wanted to see his wife again. And because that has so much meaning for him, and it's have him like not kill himself, like have the hope that go forward. And so that's just why you can survive hardship if you really have the meaning and purpose and the feeling attached with that goal too.
Yeah. And yeah, that again just shows like how important this step is. Like if you get this step, like really everything else should like be kind of easier for you because you're already driven by your feeling.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. I think we should move on to execution now. I feel like this portion is like probably your favorite because I feel like a lot of people are like trip here or like a lot of people like struggle on this section.
Yeah, I mean, like in statistics, people say that by the end of first week of January, 22% of people already quit their New Year resolution. And then after that, 43 people will quit by the end of January. And then they circle back into the next January. The same goal, the same thing happen. And I think that's the part of it is execution. And execution is absolutely hard. You saw how many books talk about time management. It's like $billion industry. And it's not because more people don't know how to set things goal. It's not. Everyone knows what they want.
Yeah.
But they fail because in real life is the struggle, the challenge, and things will happen. Your staff cannot work. They're sick. Your children sick. Your car broken down. Snow coming down. The water is not going to be working. Like all things will happen. And that will prevent you to actually execute and achieve your goal. And most of the time, the people who can do that actually have the skill in execution.
Yeah. I think that's a skill that not a lot of people think about, like being able to like execute the goals or like the tasks that you set out for yourself is something that like you kind of have to practice and work on and like make it a skill.
Yeah, it's just the core of the thing. The core of the thing is regardless how many goals you have, and I always say that whatever you do in a day will result in weeks, in months, and in years after that. And I think that's the core of the thing. That's ability to bring it out and execute it and do it again and again. But the number one rule I always, and I think people will not like the way to talk about this part, but this is the truth. The moment that you have the mindset that you own the result of your life and your business. And it's very hard to explain it. But as the owner of your business and also the owner of your life, if you take the ownership of it, you say that regardless what happened, I will make this happen. Then you flip the coin
That's true.
that you take the control on yourself. And I think in psychology, it has a very important concept that the agency in make the decision in your life in long term is impact a lot in your success. And that's just why people who go to work for other people and people make the decision. Like when you go to work, what you do, how to do certain thing, and what is the result of it. In long term, you will not like it. The more agency and authority in the work that you do and in your life is create your success
Right.
too. And this is very abstract and confusing concept. That's why you take the ownership of your life, your business, it will change the situation. But I always see this in my personal life, in my business, and also in all of the clients that I've served. The people who take the ownership of it eventually will be success.
Right. Like when you run a business, there's going to be problems that like you're not prepared for, like you didn't see coming, and you feel like, oh man, that's like out of my control, you know?
Yeah.
But if you feel like you have to take ownership and like responsibility for your entire business, you still have to continue to control and like drive the boat that is your business.
Yeah.
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 And having that like type of mindset is like what keeps you going instead of like giving up when like you trip.
Yeah. When things happen, it you also happen too. But in the reality, in the business, is like thing will happen. That is like the baseline. The thing will happen, and how you adapt, you change, you adjust your action is that make you become successful.
Right. And I feel like a lot of people spend a lot of their time like creating like detailed plans on their goals and like how to execute these things. But then like after they do all that work, they see how big this plan is and they're like frozen. So how do you recommend they get past that little like paralyzed stage?
I think based on my experience and all the book that I read and over the year, I think one of the thing is when you have excitement, do it right away. It's number one. Don't wait until January to do something. Like if you decided to do something, and if you can squeeze in 30 minutes, an hour today to do that thing, do it. Or you can squeeze in tomorrow, do it right away. That's the number one. That to do it right away. Number two is the discipline, because the honest conversation and the truth that we all need to say is that things will getting hard. Not going to be getting easy. And if you watch all the big business as they scale up to 12 million, 15, $20 million in revenue, they will say, no, it's actually get harder. It's not easier because your decision become like it scale bigger and it impact a lot more. And then the number of the thing that you need to make decision, it also go bigger. And then your time is not multiplied at all. So the fact that we acknowledge that it will be hard and it requires a discipline to say that, okay, what we will do, we will do that.
Right.
That is absolutely important. And the number three is time management skill. And I think what actually changed for me so much in terms of time management is figuring out when I will be the most productive for the type of the work that I do. Like for example, the logical work, I do most of the time early in the morning. Because when we wake up, it's high cortisol and our brain is bribed to be like, go tackle the logical thing. And so I don't write, and I naturally cannot meet people like early in the morning at all. Even I do meet people at 5 a.m. But this is because of like the different time zone that I need to do it. But that is where things change. Is that when I know when is the most productive time for the time of the work I do, I become like more efficient with my time.
Right.
And once I know that I block all other things, I don't let people touch in those time at all.
Right.
And then after that, we talk about everything in like 1 year, in 6 months, in 1 quarters, in 1 month. They need to be go back into everyday activity because there will not enough progression if you don't do it more often during the week. Like if you say, oh, you want to train for running and you run once per week, it's not going to be like enough for you to build your capabilities and your capacity to actually to do it at all. It's not reach the tipping point at all.
Right.
So we need like a lot of volume. The more you do it often, the better you become because it's like now it's come to the practice of it. And there's nothing but anything that you actually like research and plan. It's just on the paper. You don't actually know whether you bring that product out, your customer will like it. You can test on one segment, small size people, a couple hundred people. But once you want to sell to the mass over the internet, sometimes people actually don't like it at all. And that is where you need to be like ability to like get the result, take the action, change, adapt your strategy and your plan to like make the thing that move it forward towards the goal that you want to achieve.
Right. Just like creating that habit, like if you want to see your like quarterly results or like your monthly results, like you're going to have to put in that work on the daily as well.
Well, yeah.
Yeah. You got to see the small daily results first before you see the monthly results.
Yeah, because it's accumulated and it's also compounds. But when you reach the tipping point, it's just compound and it trip over. But people always think that their growth and their progression is a straight line go up, but it's not. In small, every single daily that you will see it up and down, up and down, up and down.
Yeah.
But like in 3 months, it's actually on the horizon rise, and in 6 months, it's up to the next level. And then in 1 year, you may have a different business. But like every single day, it will up and down struggle every single day.
Yeah. It's very gradual.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think I have a question. I'm not familiar with the tipping point concept. Could you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, it's one of the book from Maxwell Malcolm. I don't remember exactly the name. That is my problem. Is I read a lot and I don't remember all this detail.
Too many.
I just take the concept and I apply it. So basically, like if you put enough the effort, it will create a momentum, and at that point, it will create a tremendous change up to the next level. And so that is why you need to do is often enough and with the high volume enough to create the tipping point for you. And this is one other thing that we'll think about personal experience. For example, I run. Anytime I run the first mile, I feel so bad. But I say, Fiona, why you need to do this thing? And then the next mile, on the second mile, I say, just need to be quit doing this thing because it's so painful. But then once I pass the 2 miles, I say, okay, I can do 5. And then once I say I can do 8. So that is the thing that is like you always have some period, some baseline that you need to overcome it. And then after when you overcome that, you feel so much better and you have a momentum to go. Of course, there's nothing will be smoothly all the time, but once you pass that point, thing maybe like you feel familiar.
Okay. Wow. That was a really good analogy for it. I think I understand the concept of like tipping point now. And I want to talk about people who get discouraged when they don't see immediate result. I feel like that's a pretty common problem. Like people are often driven by seeing their progression or seeing their results. How do you say like people should overcome when they're stuck in that little period where they haven't seen results in a while?
Yeah, I mean, in anything, you need the volume, the effort, and the time.
Yeah.
If you want time is happen faster, you do more volume of it. And if you can't do more volume of it, you need to give it more time. But then once you reach the tipping point, that's the time and the effort that you put in, it will up you to the next level. But most of the time, people will quit before they reach a certain volume effort into it.
Yeah.
Or they quit before they get enough time into it. And so if you decided to quit before it's actually happened, you ask yourself whether you gave it enough time or you actually put enough effort.
Yeah.
Like there's no way you put like post on social media, one post per week, and you expect that this will go viral.
Yeah.
There's people do, but they don't say what they do in the back end at all. Whether they go to the comment to other people, whether they have an engagement group, whether they have the people who support their post. So that is the thing that you give enough volume or you give enough time. And things not gonna be like happen. Of course, we naturally want it's happened now and it happened yesterday.
Right.
Not even tomorrow at all.
Yeah, I agree. I think having that concept of tipping point and knowing that things just kind of require time and discipline,
Yeah.
and it can be really helpful for people who feel like they're not making that much progress. Because I think if you just keep thinking about that tipping point, like as like your closer goal than your bigger goal, then I feel like that could keep you like a little bit more driven and like stick through that hard part.
Yeah.
I think I also wanted to dive into how to manage your energy throughout this entire journey, because I feel like when executing your goals, like obviously you need to have the energy and the drive for it.
Yeah, it is. And I think this is one of the things that I saw all the time on the internet. People will say like, oh, anytime you setting goal for the new year, setting goal will divide your life into 5 areas. For example, they say finance, health, relationship, works, business, and then your personal self-care, relationship with yourself, or like spiritual part of it. And they say, okay, you just take one part, take its priority and do it and ignore other thing, maintain other thing as it is. To be honest, I did that for years. And it's a recipe for burnout and crash. Because why? Because we human being, we basically an integrated person. Our brain connect with our emotion, we connect with our body, connect with our ability to make the decision and our endurance to do things.
Right.
And the relationship with other people also affect us. It affect our emotion. The work that we do will affect the level of satisfaction, the stress level. So if we divide ourselves and choose one part, that is the recipe of the failure. So what I think, and I read this from a book about the energy management. Now I don't remember the name, the title of the book. But basically this concept changed the way that how I be able to endure and do a lot of things and maintain my energies is because I consider myself as a whole person, and everything needs to integrate it. And the foundation needs to build on is like physical. Every single day you need to have a physical activity, whether that is running, swimming, walking, weightlifting, whatever, move your body. Because there's no one will be sick and lay on bed and happy to work at all. There's none. But then once you move your body, it create you the energies that actually help you to manage your emotion, help you manage your stress. When you have a stress, it's release the stress imbalance and reset your emotion too. And that give you productivity and efficiency to try have a relationship with people that you can focus. And when I sit in front of someone, they talk, I can pay attention and listen to them. Otherwise, if I was like talking to you and I think about something else is happening in the back end, that is not efficiency at all. And that is one of the concepts in the book they talk about too, that is give that 100% of your attention in anything that you do too. If you talk to people 15 minutes, that should be 15 minutes that your brain is there.
Right.
But ability to be so efficient require physical movement, emotional management, stress management, and like relationship with other people too. So every of these four need to take care a little bit of it every single day. And then sometimes it doesn't make sense. When we say that we spend an hour to like do exercise and move our bodies or like stress management, because we say, oh, that's 1 hour we can work.
Right.
But in reality, that's not how we do at all. We're not like a computer that we put in the number, we run the number at all. It's not. That's 1 hour you put in the physical exercise and stress management is can help you to be more return on your energies.
Yeah, I think there's no perfect recipe, but I feel like that's a pretty good way to break it down. Like those four aspects is something that you kind of have to like continue to maintain in your life just so that you can be like a healthy person, you know,
Yeah.
to like continue to work and like continue to like put yourself out there. So yeah, I think just focusing on those four pillars is like very important in like everyone's life. It's not just this is not just for like business owners. It's
Yeah,
just for
yeah. It's not for business owners. It's
Yeah.
just for everyone. And I think high performing people, they actually know that. And that's the reason why that they go to the gym or they do the exercise every single day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people want to think of themselves as like, I'm a machine. Like I can keep going. I can
Yeah, and that's the recipe of burnout.
Yeah.
And people quit all the time because there's not investment in their energy and it's not enough for them to endure the long term pursuing any goal that you have in your life.
I think another part of execution that I kind of want to tap into is like failure prevention. I want to talk about like backup plan. Like, should people be setting this up?
Yeah, so I think should be in the part of when you do the planning, that when you plan for your resource, your budgets, your human resource and time, before you execute, you need to have some scenario. That if like 2, 3 scenarios, what is the most likely scenario which will happen? What is the worst case? If it's the worst case happen, how you make the decision? What is your plan for that? Because things will happen. Like if you plan to record the podcast on Monday, but then on Monday it's like the internet not working, then what is your plan for that? That is one of the most simple thing that we can say. But it's happened all the time. What is your plan? Whether that's in your time, in the whole week, there will be some backup, some empty place that you can plug in these things that will like you need to move the part. And that's backup plan in any time that you plan for your week or you plan for the year or the quarter, whatever it is, you need to have the plan for failure situation.
Yeah, I agree. I think that is a step that a lot of people pass by, like, because like you don't want to think about like you need to have a backup plan.
Yeah, we're optimistic people, so we want like anything that we set the plan for is will work perfectly.
It'll be perfect.
Yeah, but in reality, it's not, and that is one of the things I think the core of execution is that resource management, time management, and on your personal level as the business owner, unless you have a CEO or someone who run day-to-day work.
Right.
The ability for you to manage your energy is very important. And then have the backup plan for all the important things. Where you will block it in your calendars, where it will block it into your team operation. That's super important.
I agree. Yeah, that's a pretty good breakdown for it.
Yeah.
Okay. I think before we wrap up, let's just go over what actionable steps that our listeners can apply right now.
So number one is reflect on your vision. Ask your why you want certain goal and what's the success look like and how it will be like connect between your vision and your goal. Number two, set your financial goal, your business goal that actually align with your vision. Don't fly into the wrong airport for that. And number three, that's have the plan. Execute what is the plan of your human resource, your people, your team, your financial that will carry on the strategy to help you to achieve with that goal that you set for. And then create a system that for execution, what is your time blocking, what is your weekly review, what is your KPI, how you track the progression toward a goal, and what is your plan B, plan C, if something happens. And finally, start now, not until next month, not until January, not until next week. If you can do anything today, tomorrow, do it.
Yeah, I think during this time of year, like people want to like kind of relax and let loose a little bit and just take a break before the year end and then start again next year. But I feel like if you want to be kind of ahead and like continue your momentum for next year, I'd say start now and then like continue next year?
Time just go regardless. But I don't mean that you always need to hustle 24/7. It's not. That's just why I say energy management is very important for you. But if anything that you can do today or tomorrow, do it, and don't wait for like a year or a month from now, because until that time there will something else happen, and then maybe you never actually start to do the thing that you're supposed to do at all.
Right. Yeah. All these like steps are super realistic and you can start applying them right now. I think that's all I have for us for today.
Yeah.
And if you guys have any further questions about this topic, like make sure to leave it in the comments below. We love to see and respond to you guys. And if you have new topics for us that you want us to explore, definitely leave those too, because you can make a video off of just your comments.
Yeah. And subscribe and share our podcast and comment. Thank you so much for your time today. And we're looking forward to the next couple episodes. Bye-bye.